as Udineo, like I said, the misogynist. I'm so sorry, Dineo. I'm so sorry. All my English teachers. That is not what I meant. It's backtrack. Hello, lovers, and welcome back to another episode of Starring Cupid, starring me. It's your boy, Zamadalex, nothing more, nothing less, from the east, not the west, all my eggs in a nest. And today, we are heading to your local cinema to talk about Noni and Max from Seriously Single. I'm not gonna talk about De Niro and her mans because of reasons you'll understand if you've watched it or when you watch the movie. Um, I remember seeing the promo for this movie last year, I think, and being genuinely excited to see this. And then, boom, a pandemic, an entire pandemic of all the drama the world could throw at us. An entire pandemic. It brought me absolute joy when I heard it was being put on Netflix because that meant okay, we can still salvage this. We can still save this film. Not only because I love seeing local films win in like terms of getting like the recognition or getting the gigs, it's not just because of that. I also love the brand of romantic comedy that this movie is. I particularly love the pairing we get from it. Before I spoil the show, let's get into our couple. This is Noni and Max. The movie was directed by Katlego and Ritabile Ramapagela. You would know them because they've been in this industry since I was tiny. They've been working since I was young. This has absolutely nothing to do with the film, but I love Ritabile. She's just awesome and she's like hilarious. I remember her voiceovers on V Entertainment used to be the most entertaining thing, and on 10 over 10 she did a lot of voiceover work, but I know that like her overall like work is great. But I particularly loved and was kind of obsessed with her voiceovers because they were hilarious. So like, and they've been in the industry for a long time. Like I said, I didn't realize that they've done so much outside of this film. I thought this was like their debut or like I thought this was their like experimental, okay, let's try this. They have another movie where they both star and they direct it, and it's called Bang Bang Club. It's on my watch list now because it looks interesting. So yeah, like these are, I want to say, experienced people. They're both experienced people in terms of the industry that they're in. This was written by Ulwazi Mvusi, who also wrote and directed Farewell Alabella, that I enjoyed. If you haven't watched it, I think right now it's on Showmax, if I'm not mistaken, because that's where I saw it. I wanted to take a second to thank her for writing Two Friends Well. I get so annoyed in movies when women are bad friends to each other. And I understand that obviously in friendship you're not going to be smooth sailing, strawberries and roses every single day. But I remember like in some movies it would feel like these women aren't friends, they hate each other. And that's not true, because women can be friends that don't hate each other the way that everyone can be friends with people that they don't hate because they're friends. Am I overselling this? Anyway, all of this to say, I felt like Danelle and Noni's friendship was quite like natural, or like realistically. It was realistic in terms of like the love and the support that they have for one another. We need more of that, please. I wanted to acknowledge the set design. I know that's something that people like don't really care about, or like they don't really like mention, but I really appreciate a well decorated fake house. Like, if you're going to put a character in a certain space, please can you, the very least, make it look like that person lives there. And they did that very well on this movie. The flat that Noni and Dinewa have is so cool to me. I want one just like it. Like the colors and then the furniture, all of it's really cute. Love that. On to our cast. Leading us, we have Dumi Morage as Noni, the flamboyant and funny bestie to Dineo. Guys, let me level with y'all. I adore Dumi Morage so much. Love that woman. She's multifaceted. Her stand-up will always crack me up every time I watch her. She's like really funny. She's hilarious. And anytime I see her in interviews on her talk show on SABC3, I think about how entertaining and warm she is. I might just be a huge fan, if you can't tell. Love the lady. And then we have Yonda Thomas as Max, the eye candy / bartender that they have in this movie. Lovers, listen. I know that online, if you are a person that follows me on like Twitter and stuff, I know that online I'm always warning women about bosom men and how they will wreck your lives and how they're this and that and that. But listen, those words are all true, every single one of them. I do not take it back. However, Mr. Yonda Thomas is a Xhosa man that deserves rights. He might be the only one. I've had a crush on him since Isidingo, when he was the detective there. Most of you will know him from that, or maybe you saw him in Mrs. Right Guy, or currently on The River. I actually haven't been catching up on The River in a long time, so I don't know what's happening with that situation. Hopefully his character isn't a terrible person yet. But last time I checked, he was charming, so yeah. I like him now as much as I did when I was younger. Respectfully, what a man. That's all I'll have to say. Honorable mentions. This movie has great people. I will say that. There's great people on this cast. We have Fulu Monguvani as Utineo, like I said, the misogynist. I'm so sorry, Tineo. I'm so sorry, all my English teachers. That is not what I meant. Let's backtrack. Tineo, the monogamist best friend. And she was really committed. I'm sorry. I wrote it in, even in my notes, I told myself I wouldn't laugh, but it's a lack of a better word. But she was very committed to her character's brand. When they said monogamist, she was like bit. She gave us really good moments in this movie, and I really enjoyed her. Yeah, she was great. Bohang Moko as Lunga, the bad boyfriend, the heartthrob. Yeah, he made me irritated. I was so frustrated with this character. Like, oh my goodness, he was a lot. He was a lot, but none of it was good. You know when you like the person that keeps messing up all the time, like unapologetically messing up, that's Lunga. That's who Lunga is to Dinero. But like, shout out to Bohang, because I guess he portrayed him well, because now I'm annoyed. Yeah. If you have not seen this film yet, I suggest you do. I can already gauge that you enjoy romance because you would not be listening to this current episode. You wouldn't be a fan. I'm calling you guys fans of my show. Meanwhile, you could just be very supportive. But still, you could be a fan of this show and not like romantic movies. Like, why? You can't like you cannot. But basically, I am assuming that if you enjoy this show and you are listening to this episode right now, you have a fondness for romantic movies and stuff like that. This movie is for a person like you. You'll find something to enjoy or something to like about this movie if you're a person that likes romantic movies. This movie, if you haven't seen it, I suggest you watch it. If you have seen it and you can't recall what happens, this is what happens. The movie follows a woman who doesn't like being single, monogamous, but is constantly dribbled by the men she loves. She gets help from her best friend, a woman who embraces her singleness and rejects the idea of relationships. And that's it. That's the entire thing without me spoiling. I wanted to focus this episode on Noni's relationship rather than Dineo's because there's a lot that I want to say about this relationship. And also, hey, that relationship, Dineo and Lunga. Dineo is important. Like, as a character, she's important for the self-love, the just love yourself story that's also going on here. And that is wonderful and that is great. Unfortunately, I only talk about relationships with more than one person. So until the day comes when I stop, if this show was purely based on me talking about romantic movies, then I would do an episode on her. But unfortunately, because of the mission statement of the show, I kind of have to mind. That being said, this is Noni and Max. When we meet Noni, she's supposed to be, I guess, the opposite of Dineo. Dineo's core drive in this film was securing her next boyfriend or like her next husband. She's just constantly chasing relationships. Whereas with Noni, her core drive is to kind of run away from anything that's too serious or even a bit too romantic. She was unapologetically in the streets like Sesame. She was living her best life, to quote her. I don't know how to say this better, so you'll excuse me. I'll say that I truly appreciate it when women enjoy sex in these movies and these shows. It's not important to a lot of people, but I think it's important because I'm like 100% sure that there are people that think women do not actually enjoy sex. And this is not me just like pulling the statistic out of my mind. I've met people like this. I've spoken to people like this back on. So this is even better because Noni looks like us. I say us. She looks like me. She looks like me. My cries for representation felt like they were being heard when I watched this. I was like, yes, of course. I love it. We love to see it. We love to know that there are women like this, and they are not just these skinny, very like conventionally desirable women. Like, they're regular women too. I say regular. Everyone that knows what I'm talking about will understand what I mean. It's just that these words are bad, but everyone, you guys get it. I hope you do. When women's sexuality is portrayed positively, it makes everything better for me as a viewer and as a consumer. It it's a little bit of empowerment that people don't think about or people don't care about, that we need desperately. And obviously there's a lot more work to be done, but I enjoyed that Noni was this character for us. Then we meet the only opposing force to Noni's missions, this Max character. At first I realized how annoying it is when someone is constantly hitting on you. It's in the beginning, like, okay, because it's the way Noni is, she already has had relations with Max, so she's not worried about him anymore. So we don't have to worry about them anymore after that. Like, that's where the relationship would end. And he, instead of being like the other guys who were disposable, he kind of like stuck around, and he was quite like persistent, and he was quite like, hey, I want to be with you. And Noni would just like roll her eyes. I understand that persistence is one of the like commandments of the rom-com blueprint, and like love can't in movies and stuff, love can't happen if the people that are meant to fall in love kind of reject each other. So there has to be this element of persistence. You like kind of have to chase after this person. But real life application has shown us that it doesn't work that way, because if someone doesn't want you, you gotta kind of let it slide. You just gotta let it happen. I think the rom-com world is the only world where I'll be okay with this, because in real life I think persistence in men, especially in our country, persistence in men is actually threatening. I want you to stop persisting me, sir. I do like how this brand of persistence that Max had, it came with industry. It helps that they knew each other before, so it wasn't just like this random stranger that was doing all this stuff. But Max was persistent with his actions and also like verbally. He wasn't just there to plead at Noni's feet. He was putting in the hours. He'd help out. He'd get them drinks at the bar. He would be a genuinely good and like helpful friend to Noni at most times. Like it was persistence with industry. His kindness and his generosity is enough to make Noni see that this is okay. Like this is a real one. This one isn't joking. He's not gonna go away. Like I thought that would happen. Then what follows after that is kind of very joyous and wonderful for me. It's just these montages of moments of cuteness between them. It's awkward because it's happening at the same time that Dine was having her problems, but it's just these like cute little montages of them having fun and stuff. You'll recall in the Shrek episode, I think it was, I said that I hate montages when they're used like that in this way, and I still do. I stand by that. But Noni and Max, they have them because they're not the main people. Like I said, the movie is about both Dineo and Noni, but they have to spend time on both of them kind of equally, and there was, I guess, no time to not have the montages. The montages are saving us time so that we can also flip back to look at this other couple that's also in this movie. So for those reasons, I will allow the montages in here. I feel like we were robbed of getting to know either of them better. Like we only know very, very few things about Max, but because of the structure of everything, I understand why we had to do it this way. This movie is corny with a capital C. It is corny, it is cheesy, and for a lot of times, for a lot of moments, it is cringy. And you know what? I love that. Those are the 3 C's of the romantic comedy genre. If the 3 C's of romantic love or communication, connection, and chemistry, then these are the three C's of rom-coms: corny, cheesy, and cringy. It's the perfect recipe. Guys, cringing is the backbone of romantic comedies. It's one of the cornerstones. I can't see a rom-com that has absolutely no cringiness in it at all. It feels like in order to fall in love, you have to cringe at some point. Like, and I appreciate the corniness of a rom-com that has singing. Because singing, side note, anytime a rom-com has like a karaoke moment, best believe I'm going to enjoy it. Like I said with cringing, it's one of those like things that rom-coms have that make them a little bit better. I can't think of a rom-com that was ruined with, oh well, actually they can ruin it with singing, but karaoke moments, like little singing moments, those are always welcome to me. I love those. Bring us more, give us more. I will admit, I'm yet to see this kind of karaoke singing moment be done very well by us. By us, I say, local filmmakers. I'm yet to see it, but I think our time is coming, and maybe even my time is coming, I guess. Speaking it into the universe. No, let me not say I guess. My time is coming. So, where was I? The slowly falling in love or falling for one another with these cute dates and all these wonderful things that they're doing. It's typical and it's traditional, but I liked that we get to see that happen for Noni. This is not even about Max. Like, romantic shit never happens for women like her, women like us, fat women, and conventionally undesirable women. You don't see us in rom-coms like this, in corny and cheesy rom-coms like this. So I don't mind the cheese, I don't mind the corn, I don't mind the cringe if it means that the women that I want to see on screen are the ones getting it. Then I don't care. I will watch every single thing and I will enjoy every single part, because we need this and we would like to have more of this. So you have to support what you want to see more of, and it will kind of, I say force, it will kind of like shake executives and writers and people to strive to make more of these. And like, aside from just the story and the things that are happening, please look at who her love interest is. It's this handsome, hunky, like artistic guy. Oof, lovers. I love that for Noni. I love that for the genre. I love that for us people that are watching. Personally, I know some people that have their like reservations about this couple because they're like, what? But I believe that if we got more screen time with them, if we got more words in with them, if we saw how everything went down, I think everyone would, not everyone, but I think it would be easier to kind of be on board this ship. I ship it. I see all the things that are missing and the things that we need more of to make this couple like really, really great. But for what we have and what I've seen, I personally ship it. It's time again for the harsh part. I call it the harsh part because I actually don't like being critical on here. It's very weird of me. I will tweet out all my thoughts and then I'll come in here and I'll be like, oh my gosh guys, it's so hard to hate stuff, you know? But someone has to do it, and that someone is me because my name is on the podcast. My likes. I said this earlier and I would like to reiterate it. I love that Dineo and Noni are friends. They're friends, like they're good best friends, for me at least. There are moments when they might say or do things that aren't good, but overall, I do enjoy the fact that they were lovely friends to one another. There was loyalty, there was support and love. Those are the basic things of friendship, that and that's all we ever really need from these friendships, but that we never see them, or they get ruined by petty things like secret jealousy or like lying and cheating and so it's refreshing. It's truly refreshing to just see people be friends without, okay, there's drama, but it's not because of petty things. There's drama, but at the end of the day, they are good friends to one another. I also like that they smoke together. It's like a teeny tiny thing, but it's, once again, you barely ever see it. So when you put it on screen, it feels normal, and it's good that this is normal because it's as normal as drinking, and we know that there are women that do it, so why not put it on screen? So thank you for that little tidbit. I said this, I liked the set design, not only in Noni and Dineo's flat, but with Lunga's flat as well, and the bar downstairs. I think those were the only like couple of like homey places that we see in this film. All these places, they're decorated according to the people that occupy that space often, which is all you really need from set design. Well, not all you really need. Like some sets work harder than others, some sets are doing way more than others, but it's like the basic idea of your set must be, does this place look like the place that this character occupies a lot or goes to a lot? I don't like this thing of spaces that just look like generic and bland, and it feels like you learn nothing about the people that live in it. I want a character space to say something about that person, or if it's not saying something about that person, it's saying something about that person. Like maybe that person doesn't like things, or they don't have a lot of things. Like the space must always say something. Please do not just give us some bland generic space, but that's a really unnecessary thing. On to our dislikes. I really dislike Lunga as like a whole character. I just hated him, actually, now that I think about it. I'm not a fan of his. I'm glad the movie ended the way it did, but my girl D was given this fuckboy too many chances. Way too many. After the first time, actually, Dinero should have said, okay, sorry, bye. First the lying, and then the bachelor party, then the wedding, and then even after he left his wife, it still wasn't great. Like it still wasn't enough for me, because he was still the person that he is, which is a fuckboy. So nothing good can come from giving men like that bums. Personally, I say wayegeni, like every single last one of them. But some of you have people that you're attached to, so I guess, each to their own. Keep them if you want. But personally, I am team wayegeni. Another thing that I didn't like, this is silly, not silly, but this is like a thing that some people might not even notice, but people would wait for a beat too long to like speak or reply to something, or the situation was just taking forever to be resolved. Essentially, I disliked the pace. I disliked the way, the speed at which things unfolded or things were said. It felt like it was choppy, and I can't watch something that's choppy or that's but that's taking forever to get to its point. I know I say I can't watch, but I watched this and I said I enjoyed it. But it's just like a small thing that bothers me about films. I can power through it, but if I'm going to have to listen to this, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop because why? Why is there no tempo? Petty little notes, petty little things that people don't care about. I don't like most of the decisions that Dineo made. Maybe more than half of them. She's kept making these really bad choices. Aside from like Lunga, there were other terrible choices that she kept making about her life and like about herself. But once again, whoever makes good decisions in a rom-com, like you kind of the bad decisions they make in these kind of movies lead, like they push the story forward. So nothing would move, well, not nothing would move, but things wouldn't move as fast if people didn't make mistakes or they didn't make errors of judgment or they didn't make bad decisions. So I'll excuse it. I don't like it, but I'll excuse it. Sometimes I say that to make myself feel better about my bad decisions though. And then I remember that I'm in fact a normal person and no one will find my decisions adorable. Nor will they fall in love with me. So we reach the end of the show, and this week's Who's Your Fave it had to be a local love battle. It would be out of theme if it wasn't about local films. And I actually think you guys should watch both of the ones that I mentioned today. I'm not going to talk about how I feel about the movies as they are, but you know what? Just give everything a chance, guys. We need it. We deserve it, and we need it. In this week's battle, we have Gugu and Joe from Mrs. Right Guy versus Skeets and TK from Hard to Get. Every time I hear someone say hard to get, now I start singing that song, the can't do that. So I kept giggling every time I was writing these notes. I have a favorite in this battle, but only because I didn't finish watching one of these. Like it was promising and it was good. I just never got around to finishing them. But they both have that thing they both have a thing that's interesting about them. I'm not going to say what, and I'm not going to carry on speaking about this because if you have seen both and you clearly have a more unbiased opinion than me, then go on and vote on our Twitter and Instagram polls. On Twitter, we are at Starring Cupid. Instagram is still at Zamati Shares. I still don't know if it's worth getting an entire Instagram account for you guys. Not to say that Instagram accounts for podcasts don't make sense, but because I have way more fun making Tumblr content for you. So I would rather you guys follow us on Tumblr, also at Starring Cupid Podcast on Tumblr. The poll will be up on Twitter for like a couple of days. Vote. We also want to hear how you lovers feel about everyone I've spoken about thus far, or maybe even other romantic comedies. Like, let's start a dialogue. Let's talk about this. I'm always open to hearing what you guys think, and I would love to hear what you guys think. Until next week, well, next episode for y'all, but until next week, it's been your boy Zamadarex. Thank you so much for having us